Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our college admissions process this evening. We are excited to have you all here. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. We just want to get started this evening. I'm Miss Christelle here from the Wooten Center, and we have some really awesome presenters to share with you all this evening. Tonight, you all, I see we have some teens in the house and we have some others who are coming in. One second here. I know we're going to have Miss Phyllis to share, and also we have Mrs. Hemmons to share with us as well about as we're learning about college readiness. And so our theme and topic for tonight is making yourself a competitive candidate. And so how to raise your GPA, note taking. Do you guys know how to do Cornell notes? And even really great study habits. How are you adding value so that you are setting yourself apart from others? So you're being competitive, you have that competitive edge. So you're gonna learn all about that this evening. And so this is a time we want you to participate with us. We're gonna have Miss Phyllis to share. Mrs. Hemmons is gonna share. We're also gonna have some prize giveaways for you all as well. And so please feel free to ask questions. We also have Miss Marlene here to help and support us as well. And so feel free to ask questions. Any questions you wanna put in the chat is great there too, but also feel free to communicate with us. So we want you to put on your cameras, chat with us, and we wanna make sure, because if you want to have the competitive edge, you can ask Mrs. Hemmons here, and she can see you, and you never know, there's connections and resources, networking, all that good stuff. So you'll get to learn and hear, and feel free to participate. All right, so awesome. So Miss Phyllis, I'm gonna have you take it away.
Okay, wonderful. You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So can I'm gonna share my screen.
Yes.
Okay. Can you see the screen?
No, not yet.
No, not yet. How about now? No?
No.
Okay, let's see. Can you see it now, Miss Christelle? Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay,
yes,
great,
we can.
great, great,
Uh-huh.
great.
And you please put your first and last name in the chat with your grade.
Okay. Okay, the top explore the past, the present, and the future. The past. In 1865, the Emancipation Proclamation was signed by President Abraham Lincoln to free the slaves. Once the slaves were unchained and unbound, the tangible work of living began to take shape. The former slaves knew in order to create a community for themselves that education must be essential to move forward. While the former enslaved were debating about how they would move forward, there was another conversation that was being had. In the late 19th century, politicians, Quakers, philanthropists, and others were curious about how Black Americans were going to establish themselves as a people with civil liberties. Some fundamental questions about how to treat the former enslaved, should they be educated? And if yes, what type of education will be best suited for them? White Americans would not allow and refuse to admit Black Americans to their colleges. Black colleges were founded and evolved in an environment unlike that of any other group or college. The student population constantly lived under severe legal constraints, educational inadequacies, economic control, political and social restrictions. Historical Black colleges and universities, HBCUs, were established in the United States early in the 19th century to provide undergraduate and graduate level opportunities to people of African descent. HBCUs were designed to teach free Blacks the skills necessary for gainful employment. The Institute for Colored Youth, renamed later to Cheney College, was the first HBCU. It was founded in Philadelphia by Richard Humphreys, a Quaker philanthropist. The school purpose and intent was to educate teachers. During these times, Black Americans were trained to be teachers and preachers only. We desired to have more for our community. We wanted and needed doctors and engineers and lawyers and judges and political leaders and policymakers and social workers. We wanted more. We wanted our own hospitals and financial institutions. We needed to create a space that would be our own, run by us. We required harmless and protected communities. Now we will talk about the present. Currently, there is 106 accredited public and private HBCUs located in 20 states. HBCUs offer a wide range of curriculum and programs of study. Some of the HBCUs have study abroad programs that matches many of the traditional white colleges. HBCUs, students from all over the world, HBCUs enroll students from all over the world. Our colleges and our universities are relevant and highly endorsed and sought after, not just by African American students, but for white folks too. They enroll and graduate from our colleges and our universities. HBCUs are becoming some of the most diverse institutions of higher learning. HBCUs have graduated 50% of the Black teachers, 40% of the healthcare professionals, 70% of Black dentists and physicians, 50% of Black lawyers, 80% of Black judges, 40% of Black members of Congress, 12.5% of Black CEOs, and 40% of the Black engineers. Yes, we are relevant. If it was not for HBCUs, we would not have Vice President Kamala Harris, who graduated from Howard University. Oprah Winfrey graduated from Tennessee State University. It is reported that she is worth over $2.6 billion. The late, great Chadwick Boseman, who graduated from Howard. In 2020, Reverend Warnock became the first Black senator in Georgia's history who graduated from Morehouse College. Rick Ross graduated from Albany State University. Yolanda Adams graduated from Texas Southern University. Stacey Abrams graduated from Spelman College. These are just a few of the game changers who attended and graduated from HBCU. Are we still relevant? Yes. HBCUs are still relevant. Our future. Who would tell our rich history before slavery? Who will write our narratives of being a people of resiliency, purpose, and grit? Who will keep and hold the space for us being unapologetic African Americans? Who will persevere? Who will preserve our freedom to be proficient, accomplished in all studies? Who will keep us authentically grounded in our culture? It is up to us as a collective group to be focused, motivated, to support and protect our HBCUs. If we don't give support to these valuable institutions, they will disappear. And where would we be? The future of HBCU involves all of us. Get involved and support and promote HBCUs. Thank you.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Miss Phyllis Hayes. And she is an AKA and everything
HBCU graduate.
Yes, HBCU graduate, absolutely. And so I think all of you, as you're looking at your universities, HBCUs are wonderful options for you to also consider for your choice for university. And so thank you so much again, Miss Phyllis. Awesome. Next, our awesome speaker, Miss Taisha Hemmons. She is a college guidance counselor at St. Mary's Academy. And so she's going to be sharing with you tonight. So Miss Hemmons, you can take it away.
Thank you so much. Let me just get my presentation prepared. Thank you for asking me back. That feels good. Yes. That means I didn't bore you guys the first time. So as was said earlier, my presentation is really on preparing for college. Embedded in that is being competitive, making sure you have a competitive profile. But I really want to talk about some habits and skills that you guys need to know now, because that's going to help ensure that you're a competitive candidate. The most successful folks have really good habits and skills. So we're going to talk about a couple of things. I am a very animated person. My presentations work best when you guys interact with me. So I really want to reiterate what was said earlier. Feel free to unmute your mic and just ask a question or put it in the chat. I have two devices going on, so I can also see your questions in the chat. But please let me know what you want to know, because this is all about you. This entire program is for you. So please be engaged, and we're also going to talk about that in a moment. So the first thing I want to talk about, and I labeled it part 1, soft skills. Before I give the definition, does anybody know what soft skills are? Or maybe do you have an example of a soft skill? Any of the students? Feel free to unmute, type in the chat. Thank you, Dylan. You said, nope, I don't know. Fantastic. I love that.
Is a soft skill?
Okay, thank you. Yes, go ahead.
Is a soft skill something that can like apply anywhere? That you can
Absolutely.
anywhere?
Every aspect of your life, you use soft skills. Yes. So I'm going to tell you the definition of soft skills is personal attributes that enable one to interact effectively with other people. Personal attributes. So these are the things that you have in you already, but they enable you to interact with others effectively. The entire college application process is an example of how you utilize soft skills. And some of those soft skills: active listening, note taking, being organized. How are you with these things? So this is where we're going to start. It's like the basics, and we're going to lead up to being that more competitive candidate. So to get into it a little bit, I will tell you, there isn't a job, a class, or anything that you will participate in that does not require you to be an active listener. Oh, I'm sorry. Can you see that? Okay, is that better? Okay. You have to be an active listener. It is essential to learning and understanding what you've learned. You can't just, like, even with this presentation, I'm here to teach you something. You have to be actively listening to what I am teaching you in order to get it. In every one of your classes, the classes that you do best in are the classes where you're listening, you're understanding, you're asking deeper questions. You're really taking in everything that is being taught to you. And then when you go to take that exam, you're going to show the proof in the pudding. Like you're going to show it right there about how well you understood what was being taught. This is a skill that I cannot tell you how essential it was in all of my years of college. I have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, and my active listening skills came into play again in every single thing that I did, but it was essential for me when I was called upon to represent what I had learned, to do my thesis, to defend myself and my education. So active listening, and this transcends from the PE class that you have to take all the way to AP Gov or government or whatever the senior level social science is that you have to take. Every single class, you need to be an active listener. That's the first soft skill. And again, this is not just about your education. This is every aspect of your life. The next thing is note-taking. I will tell you, this is a valuable skill, especially for those of you who might be applying to some of those bigger universities where you are one of 600 in a class. Yes, you heard me, 600. At UC Berkeley, the classes are huge. Your freshman classes could definitely be that or more. So knowing how to take notes, because it's not going to be possible for you to raise your hand in that type of class. In that type of class, you're going to take your notes and then you're going to go to the TA, and then you're going to have an opportunity to ask your questions. So you have to write good notes. You have to know how to prepare yourself for the things that you're unsure about, so that you can get that clarified later. We are going to take 3 minutes to watch a video about how to correctly do Cornell notes.
Hi everyone. In this video, we're going to take a look at a simple and effective way to take notes in any subject, the Cornell Notes method. We'll start by going through the layout of the Cornell Notes
page. Turn up the volume a little bit.
How the structure helps us learn new content. Cornell Notes are great because of their simplicity and flexibility. We can use them in class when we're learning something new, or we can use them when taking notes on our own. Here's the layout of a page. To save time and effort, we might want to come to class with a bunch of sheets that already have the layout. Check the link in the video description for a template that you can print off and use for yourself. There are also a couple of examples of how Cornell Notes might look in some different types of subjects. At the top of the page, we can fill in some details like the subject, the specific topic that these notes are on, and the lesson objective or dot point that we're covering. Don't worry, this isn't a physics lesson in disguise, we're just using an example to see how things work. Try and break down a larger topic into smaller topics so that we'll only need 1 or 2 pages to cover the topic at hand. In this case, we are not trying to cover the entire physics of waves in just 1 or 2 pages. We can add a date in the top right corner so we can keep track of when we took the notes. This is where we should be at before we actually jump into learning the content. As we hear, read, or watch the information that we're learning, we just take notes in the right-hand column. For example, our teacher might start the lesson by saying that the crest of a transverse wave is the highest point on the wave. It's also called the peak. We hear this and just jot down a note that captures the information. All this seems pretty similar to regular note-taking, but here's the important part. We now want a cue on the left that relates to the information that we've just written down. A cue can just be a question, keyword, or phrase that refers to the material on the right-hand side. So in this case, a simple cue for the first point might be, what is the crest or peak? In some cases, the lesson might move on before we have time to write cues, and that's fine. We can just come back later and write the cues when there's a pause in the lesson. What we have at the end is 2 columns, cues on the left and responses on the right. The cues on the left prompt us to think of the more detailed information next to it, which can be notes, diagrams, quotations, or whatever is relevant to the topic we're learning. At the bottom of the page is space for a summary. Sometimes a topic might take more than 1 page worth of cues and responses to cover, so just do your summary on the last page of the bunch. This is the space to condense the information and try to relate it to other areas of the course. Try and wait at least a couple of hours before doing the summary. That will give the content time to sink in and let your brain sort things out in the background. So that's the basic structure.
Okay, so I have a quick little cheat sheet. Oh, sorry.
Hi everyone.
Nope.
Hi everyone. In this video, we're going to take a look at a...
Okay, so this is kind of like an example of a Cornell note. And I definitely recommend this to all of my students, especially my students who say, Miss, I'm struggling in this class. And the first thing I say is, how are you taking notes? What are you doing to prepare yourself, or what are you doing to facilitate, that you're understanding while you're in the classroom, right? So, like he said, I do put a date because I want to remember when this was happening, a title of the lesson. But on the left-hand side, those questions or keywords are really important. Those are essential. You guys probably know how to do the right side already, where you just take the notes, the bolded things that your teacher talks about. But nowadays, the teachers they don't want you to just regurgitate, definitions. They want to know, how are you applying those definitions? So then those keywords and questions on the left-hand side are very important. That's where the understanding happens, or that's where you can reflect on the notes that you took on the right side. And then the summary just kind of puts it in a nice little package. Again, there are many different ways to take notes, but this is a way that I recommend not only using this in high school, but in college. It's going to be important. And in college now, you're not just writing on pen and pad. You're typing your notes into the computer, right? So putting together a table in the computer as you are taking notes is a really great way to still utilize Cornell notes. So you can build this table on a Word document in your computer in order to take Cornell notes. This way of note taking is recommended by all of my AP teachers. I have a son in college. This is the way he takes notes as well. So again, Cornell Notes is a way to not only just jot down what the teacher says, but on the left-hand side, the most important side are, what questions do you have? Now, in addition to my students who tell me, Miss, I'm struggling, I ask them, how are you taking notes? Then I teach them how to take Cornell notes. And then the next step that I tell them is to go to tutoring. And when you go to tutoring, you have those questions on that left-hand side again that you can take to the teacher. And they can address your concern, address your question right there with what you've already listed on the side. I'm going to pause for a moment, and I want to check the chat, do a chat pulse. Are you using Cornell Notes? Let me know. Have you heard of this before? Do you think it's a good idea? Don't be shy. Just go ahead and put your response in the chat. For those of you who are super bold, go ahead and unmute your mic and just let me know. All right, Emmanuel, you've heard of it, but you've never seen it used. Okay. Okay, some of us have used them. Hi, Sydney. We have a bell in the house. Fernando, you've used these as well. Okay. Really quickly, Fernando, as I was looking at you signing in, I noticed that you're a senior. Do you find that your senior level classes utilize Cornell Notes more than you did when you were an underclassman?
Actually, well, how often we've used Cornell Notes? I've started using Cornell Notes in 7th grade. I didn't use them at all before, and then in 7th grade we just kept using them, and now it's when they say we're gonna take notes, that's the norm.
Yes. Okay, thank you. And sorry, I hope you're okay with me putting you on the spot. I just wanted to do a gauge of my audience, so thank you for that. And Miss Brenda, you're saying you're a mom and you've never heard about Cornell Notes. I understand. I'm old school, and I remember just that note and pad and just write down everything that was bolded, and that's kind of how I took notes. It is a lot different now because, again, the kids are required to have deeper level questions. And in order to do that, you have to not only see the material, but you have to know how to process the material, which is why the left-hand side is what I zone in on. What are your questions? What are the keywords? Where is it that you need to dive a little deeper to understanding more beyond what is bold? So thank you for that. Thank you, everyone. So again, soft skills we've talked about so far. We've talked about active listening, and then we're talking about note taking, taking the notes on what you've heard. The next thing, that a soft skill that I feel like is very important, is your morning habits. The habits that you have before the day begins, when it's still quiet. After, if you pray, you get up, you do your thing. but you need time to set your day in motion. And I do want to say that sometimes unpredictable things can happen, but successful people take time to set their day in motion. Make sure you're ready for today's classes. See what needs your attention. Go on Google Classroom or your email, Google Calendar, whatever your planner is. Everybody has an iPhone or an Android or something. There are apps that you guys really need to utilize. When I meet with my juniors, I'm asking them what kind of phone you have, because I have like 3 or 4 go-to apps for kids that I want you guys to get familiar with now while you're in high school, and the stakes are a little bit lower before you get to college, where the stakes are higher. And I mean, you're paying for the education, and scholarships depend on you having a certain GPA. So having these healthy habits now is very important, and you guys have it at your fingertips. So really setting the tone for your day. Be aware of what you need to do or you need to address today. And doing that in the morning, again, before everything starts, before the busyness of the day starts, is what I recommend. Rolling out of bed and, going into class. I know we're virtual and we kind of, that happens from time to time, but it isn't what I recommend, because you might miss out on something. I email my students all the time, probably too much. I learned how to schedule send emails now. So like, if I'm working at 10 p.m., they don't get the alert at 10 p.m. I schedule it for 8 a.m. In hopes of, they'll see it first thing in the morning. So that is something that is a skill that I think, again, successful students and successful people, that's something that they do, or they should try to do as much as possible in order to set the tone for the day. I guess really quickly, I'll take another pulse check of the chat. Do any of you guys have any morning habits that you'd like to share? I love learning from students. You guys sometimes have some great ideas. Anybody willing to share a morning habit or what you do to set the tone for your day? You drink coffee, Fernando? Okay, yes. Anybody check their email? Like, do you check your email and see if there's anything urgent or there's anything that you have to do? Okay, Dylan, you were doing yoga. I think that's fantastic. Self-care and wellness is essential, especially during a time like this. Emmanuel, you started a routine where you give yourself time to wake up, you brush your teeth, water the grass. Oh my gosh, please come over. You check your email and then you cook breakfast. Yes. Oh my gosh. Leah, you wake up an hour before class and that makes you more alert for the day. Okay. Sydney, you definitely check your emails in Google Classroom in the morning. Yes. That is fantastic.
Alexander says he wakes up at 6:30 a.m. for a workout.
Really? Oh, did I miss that one? Wow, that is fantastic. That is great. I think that a workout gets all of your everything flowing, and you probably, Alexander, did not gain any pandemic pounds like I did, because I wasn't doing any workouts. So yes, maybe you're going to inspire me to do that. But thank you guys for sharing. Morning habits are important. Self-care is important. A habit to have. I wanted to take a moment to do a shout out for any students who are in AP classes and any students who are seniors. Or this is really for everybody, but if you want to be in an AP class, I just want you guys to know, be prepared. These courses require 2 hours of study for every 1 hour of class. And why am I bringing this up right now? Time management. Time management is also another skill that I need you guys to be very mindful of. AP, again, an AP class is a college level class on a high school campus. So those of you who are in AP classes, that's essentially what you're doing. You're taking a college level class. So anybody, AP students or seniors, as you're preparing to go to college, just note that this is the amount of time you're going to be required to prepare for your class. And just to throw it out there as well, they're requiring that you do this before coming to class. So preparing ahead of time. You can't go into a college class without reading the material the night before. That's an assumption. They might not even say it, but that's what they're assuming. And then they're going to give you the follow-up information in the lecture. So keep that in mind. I know in my school, we're preparing for next year. If you guys have the ability to request AP classes, I would say, just keep this in mind, but also, give it a try. I think being prepared by having the experience of an AP class prior to college is very beneficial, again, so that you can prepare and know what's going to be expected of you. Same thing with seniors, get ready for that. It's definitely going to be a shift in how you are accustomed to learning and studying versus high school, but it's definitely doable, and being prepared is what's important. Also, I want to say this, I do have this labeled for AP students and seniors, but I want you guys to start setting your schedule for everything, including chill time. Set a schedule for everything. Put it in your smartphone. With my son. So I have a son who is a high school senior, and I have a son who is a college. He's about to be a college senior. So I am constantly on them about setting the chill time. For my high school senior, it's like 2 hours on, meaning 2 hours doing work, 1 hour off. 2 hours on, 1 hour off. He has multiple AP classes. So make that work in your schedule. Nobody's going to sleep at 10 o'clock like I was forced to do when I was in high school, because I'm a little bit older than you guys, but I had to be asleep, like lights off at 10. You guys, for some reason, are able to do everything and still be up by, don't go to sleep until like 1 a.m. I could never do that. But just make it work where you are scheduling everything. Every single moment matters. You have a lot riding on this. So being prepared, making sure you set time. And mind you, I didn't say no chill time. I think you should definitely have a social life. You should definitely, engage with your peers and all of that. But it needs to be kind of scheduled so that you don't take so much attention away from your academics, especially at this time as we're preparing to be a competitive candidate for the college of your dreams. And Alexander, you're training for football. That's fantastic. Oh, discipline. Okay, the next part I've titled, part 2 is self-advocacy. I cannot stress this enough, how you set the tone for the experiences you have, whether good or bad. You have to be an active participant in what is happening to you. So I really want to stress this point. So what is this? Self-advocacy is the ability to speak up for yourself and the things that are important to you. Speaking up. Sometimes people mistake speaking up with folks being aggressive or belligerent or something like that. That is not the case. If you make it known what your expectations are and the things that are important to you in a respectful manner, in a manner that is, you're right, it is very important. You're able to ask for what you want and need and tell people your thoughts and feelings. This is really important. I have to say, as you guys are preparing for college, that is one thing. A lot of resources are coming to you right now in high school. Your counselors are coming to you. They're checking in with you. They're making sure you have what you need. But it's different in college. So you have to learn these habits now. In college, if you don't, if you don't speak up and you're failing a class, you failed the class. That's it. And they took your money for it. So it is really important that you gain the confidence to speak up for yourself. It's your right. It's your right. So I want you guys to again, kind of examine why don't I speak up? Do I not care? Because I tell you, sometimes when I see students who have an F in a class and I've tried to reach out and support them, teachers have given them extra credit, they still don't do it. The assumption is you don't care. What else could we think? So you have to learn, you know what? I know you're giving me this resource, but I still don't get it. Can you help me further? That is your right. And I don't think that anyone would think less of you by speaking up. I get that sometimes from students. Oh, I don't want to speak up. I don't want to, bother them. I don't want to appear like I don't know. Well, the F is telling me that already. You don't have to worry about that. Just come and state your piece and let's figure out how to make it work for you. So I want to take another moment. I want you guys to tell me in the chat box a time where you had to advocate for yourself, whether it was in a classroom or at work or, just in the community. We are faced with a lot of things, as people of color. There's a lot of obstacles. But tell me about a time when you had to advocate for yourself. And maybe that was a moment where you were like, okay, I need to do this for more things. Feel free to unmute your mic and just speak out or write in the chat. A job interview. Yes, Sydney, you definitely had to speak up. And I'm imagining you also had to kind of demonstrate why you were a good candidate for the job. Thank you. What about like tutoring and things like that? Have you guys, reached out for support or, depending on your school, do you have like peer tutoring or things like that? An entrepreneurship grant interview, Dylan. Okay. And I imagine, again, that might be competitive. So you really had to speak up. Oh my goodness, a lady cut you off in the grocery store, jumped in front of you? Yes. Is it Adana? I hope I'm saying that right.
It's Adanaya.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Okay, Adanaya. Yes, but definitely you have to speak up. And I'm assuming maybe she thought, oh, she's just young. I'm just going to do whatever and I get away with it. But no, not today. Okay, applying for scholarships. Yes, you guys, the college essay process is all about showcasing you. It is about advocating for yourself and really showcasing all your gifts and talents. Also, they want to know, when did you make a mistake and how did you recover? And that whole process is self-advocacy. What did you do? How did you step up? Even if someone supported you during that process, it still took you to take the first step. So again, I cannot tell you how important this skill is to learn and to be comfortable with before you get to college. For the parents who may be in the room, once your student goes off to college, you can no longer advocate for them. You cannot. They won't allow you to get their grades or anything. You have to have that relationship with your student or with your child for them to show you and to tell you what's going on. And that's a whole nother meeting with parents. How do you tell signs if your kid needs support, and how to go about doing it? And I would love to share about that too at a later date. But yes, those are great examples. Thank you all. Now, piggybacking to the advocating for yourself, how to improve your grades. We've talked about seeking out support. And I want you guys to know it happens. It happens, especially right now during the pandemic. Like at my school, I check D and F lists, like where I can do an export. How many kids have D's and F's? It has been much more during this pandemic. This is, virtually learning is not a great way to learn, especially for classes like math, classes that are already hard, and now you're doing it virtually, and you're struggling. That happens. But what I want you to know is you still need to advocate for yourself. You still need to seek out help, whatever that looks like on your school site. Or, if possible, talk to your parents about seeking out outside tutoring. And there's tons of college students who are willing to help. They get volunteer hours for that. So there are ways. And hopefully you guys have, someone in your school campus that you trust and you're able to talk to about how to go about seeking that kind of support. However, if things, happened, you had a grade that wasn't the greatest, I say definitely sign up for summer school as soon as it's available. In a perfect world, all grades would need to be made up before the summer of your junior year. So usually I see kids struggling the most in 9th and 10th grade. And I say, okay, you need to get this taken care of. You need to take the summer school classes to make this up before the end of the summer of your 11th grade. So that way, the colleges, once they see your transcript, they can see what you've done to improve. Because again, it happens. It definitely happens. Not everybody's getting straight A's in this world. There's definitely folks who are getting, even D's and F's along the way who have recovered and still be admissible to college. But again, the steps to recovery starts with you advocating for yourself. It starts with you acknowledging, okay, I messed up, but I need to do better. Or I need to do X, Y, and Z in order to recover this so I can still be admissible to the college of my dreams. Okay. Now, for those of you who maybe, your grades are good, you're doing okay, I would say in order to improve, or maybe not improve is not the right term, but to ensure your competitiveness or to increase your competitiveness, take advancement and enrichment courses. Sign up for community college. As a high school student, community college is free. The book is not free, but the course is free. Dual enrollment is free. You go to your counselor, you say, I want to take a class at El Camino or wherever, and they can assist you with signing up for a community college course. You can do that. And once you apply to college after you're done with high school, they're going to see that. They're going to see all of the things that you did outside of school, outside of the regular school day, to advance yourself, to just really prove that you're ready for a college course. When high school students take college courses, and I have 9th graders taking college courses, they're in a real college class. It's not dumbed down or whatever because you're still in high school. That is not the case. That was a poor term. I'm sorry. The course is the same. The rigor of the course is college level. So doing that while you're in high school just proves to the universities like, hey, this student is ready. This student took a college course on psychology and got an A in a class amongst 30-year-olds. That is going to look really good on your college application. For my students, I tell them, because my school is very small, take a course that we don't have that you've always been interested in. That's enrichment. Advancement for some of the kids who want to do something in medical. Santa Monica College has a great medical terminology course that you can take right now. Learn all the terms for, the medical field before you even get into college. You're going to have a step up. Or you're going to have prior knowledge. So maybe the questions that you are asking to your professors when you get into college, they're at a deeper level than the other students that are coming in because they don't have that prior knowledge. That's advancement. So having a combination of those already before you leave high school is definitely going to make you a competitive candidate. I will say some schools are some schools determine which community college courses they're going to accept, which means you might be able to take a community college course or two that will be used in lieu of a freshman class. So basically, if you take community college course, let's just say a history course, and when you get to college, you won't have to take that course during your freshman year of college or your sophomore year during college because you already took it and the university will accept the community college credits. That is great for a couple of reasons. One, it gets you ahead. Maybe you have so many classes under your belt and the university accepts it that you come in as a second semester freshman instead of a first semester freshman. And what that could essentially means is graduating in 3.5 years instead of 4. And what that means, especially for us parents, that means less money spent. If you have to pay for college and you're able to graduate a semester early, that's money saved. That's money that can go towards something else, or that's money that your parents don't have to worry about taking out a loan or struggling for. So those types of things, again, for advancement are very important, especially if you're able to. Downtime, yes. Again, I do want you guys to have a break, be regular young people, have a social life and things like that. But during the summer, it is possible to at least fit one community college class or one enrichment program into your schedule. It's very important that we think ahead like that, especially depending on the type of school is your dream school. So keep that in mind, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. Any questions about this before I move on? Feel free to type in the chat or unmute your mic and go for it. All righty, no pressure. Okay, part 3, be proactive. I found this cool video. I want to show you. It's really short, but this comes from the Wise channel, and they have a series on 7 habits, and this is being proactive. So I am going to share this.
Hey everybody, you're watching the Wise channel, and the wise word for today is proactive. Proactive is a pretty big word, but it basically means doing something instead of waiting for something to happen to you. It's kind of like trying to catch a ball. There are a couple ways to try and catch a ball. The first way is to just stand still and hold that my throat. You'll magically catch the ball. Oh my! But obviously, that doesn't always work. All right, fortunately we put that back together. So the second way to catch the ball is to do something, take action, put your hands up and actively catch the ball. Even when it's not a perfect pass, you can still receive the ball. Now imagine that this ball is not just a ball, it's a goal, it's a dream, it's something that you want to do in life. Just like with this ball, there are two ways to approach reaching your goals. One way is to just stand still, do nothing, and hope it magically happens.
I'm gonna be a famous movie star.
That sounds good. Have you taken any acting classes?
No.
Are you good at acting?
No.
Have you ever been in a play?
Well, that one time in preschool.
The problem with that is dreams don't just fall out the sky and land in your hand. You have to take action, do something about it, and be proactive.
I'm gonna buy a new video game.
Do you know how much it costs?
Yes.
Do you have enough money for it?
No, but I'm saving up.
Nice.
And I have a coupon.
My man. See, the first person wasn't being proactive. She just had a goal but was not taking any steps to reach it. The second person was being proactive. He had a goal, he had a plan to reach it, and he was doing something about it. I'm pretty sure you're starting to get the idea, but here's one more example just in case.
Hey Bud, what are you up to?
I'm watching the game.
Well, don't forget you need to practice for your big trumpet solo for the concert this week.
Okay, well, later. You need to be proactive and practice, or else this would happen. Now you want to practice? Yeah, I'll practice right now. See ya. That's better. Later that evening.
So now I'm sure you get the point. It's not enough just to want to do something. We want to take active steps to actually make it happen. Let's all be proactive. Now, I wonder what you're being proactive about. Leave a comment to let us know what you are actively trying to do. What goals are you being proactive towards reaching? And of course, be sure to like and hit this little icon in the bottom right-hand corner so that you can subscribe to the Wise channel. It's completely free and you'll be notified when we release new videos. Thanks for watching.
Okay. That was a cute little video, but there was some nuggets in there. There are definitely some nuggets. You have to be proactive. My students who are getting the most scholarship money, that's free money to go to college, they are being proactive. They are not waiting for, it to fall out of the sky. They know how important it is to go to their school, the school of their dreams. They know their parents cannot afford it. They know that they're going to have to look for resources to help afford the school. So they are working towards those scholarships. Sorry. We're gonna watch it again. So being proactive, when you're researching schools, right? You need to know what they require. You need to know this before the end of your junior year. Because if there's a requirement that you haven't fulfilled yet, you still have your senior year to fulfill it. So that's why researching colleges should begin, along the way, the entire way. So again, you know what they're requiring and you are going to fulfill those requirements. The next thing is go beyond the minimum requirements. This is a competition. It really is. This year was a blessing and a curse wrapped up into one for my students with as far as college admissions. Some got into some schools. We were like, oh my gosh. And then some who were super prepared, had great profiles, had some disappointments. But I'm attributing that to all of the movement that happened during the pandemic. There was lots of things change. So in order to ensure that as best as you can, because one, we can't guarantee admission to anywhere, but what we can say is go beyond the minimum requirements so you are the most competitive that you can be. And then keep your options open. It's really, really important that you don't discount or overlook those lesser known schools. Some of those schools have the biggest endowments. And what an endowment is, it's money to give to attend the school. You will find that with your private schools. Some students only know, oh, UCLA or USC or, yes, those are fantastic schools. But I'm not sure if you guys know Williams College. Williams College is on the East Coast. It is ranked higher than Harvard. They have a huge endowment, and they are looking for students who look like you and me to come to their school. So keep your options open. Don't limit yourself. But again, to be competitive for those types of schools, you do have to have a strong profile. You do have to have a high GPA. And then number 4 is review essay prompts and begin writing or journaling now. I saw there was a freshman in the group. Already, you can pull up what are the college essay prompts for UCLA? What are the the college essay prompts for USC? If that's truly a school or schools that you want to apply to, pull it up. You have everything at your fingertips. Don't wait for anybody. Again, be proactive. Hopefully you're at a school where you will get guidance. But again, back to what we said in the beginning, reading ahead, taking your notes, doing all of that. That's part of advocating for yourself. Do all of this right now and begin jotting things down. If you're researching schools, you know what they require. Make sure you have that. Make sure your grade is good in that subject area. So again, doing your research, knowing what they require, making sure you're doing above minimum requirements, and again, Google is your friend. Look up those prompts and begin writing. For those of you who are seniors, reach out to the colleges. By now, I don't want to put you on the spot again, Fernando, but I think I am. Have you decided what school you're going to go to?
So far I've only El Camino.
Yep.
Or I forgot the name, but some other community college.
That's fantastic. Can I tell you, all of you guys, something? Community colleges, not only are they great for saving money, because you can do 2 years of community college right now for free, but community college has honors programs. El Camino has a fantastic honors program. And why does that matter? That matters because you are going to be guaranteed priority that you enroll in your classes. That is super important because, it is my assumption that you want to go to the community college for the 2 years and then transfer to a 4-year university. You can do that. And if you join a program or an honors program at the community college level, they are going to make sure you take all the courses you need to prepare yourself to be out of there in 2 years so that you can graduate with all the other kids in class of 2021 when they graduate college. You can graduate at the same time, but you saved a boatload of money and you were still preparing for what your end goal is. So I think it's a fantastic option. I'm a believer in giving kids all options because there's so many and you can end up at the same place, whatever option you choose. So that is fantastic. Thank you, Fernando, for sharing. I'm sorry. But what this slide is about is don't wait. Once you know the school you're going to attend, go for it. Talk to somebody. Make sure they know your name. They probably can't see your face right now. A lot of stuff is virtual, is via email, but make sure they know you. Make sure they know that you're serious. When you get there, whether it's community college or a 4-year, let them know what your goals are, or if you have questions, talk to them. Again, they're not going to come to you as much as they did in high school. The counselor is not going to come to you as much. It's just a fact anywhere you go. So take it upon yourself. Don't wait. Talk to your advisor. Right now, we had decision day for those of you who are going to a 4-year university. Decision day is May 1st. On May 1st, you have to submit you have to accept the acceptance. So whatever school you're deciding to go to, 4-year university, you have to say, yes, thank you for accepting me. I will be coming to your school. So once you do that part, you need to get on the horn and say, hey, my name is, Taisha. I just want to let you know I'm excited about coming to the school. I am ready and prepared. This is my goal. I hope to work closely with you to fulfill this goal, to ensure I have what I need to fulfill this goal. So you guys need to start speaking up. Everybody's email address is online. Everybody's email. If you are going to, let's just say Dominguez Hills, and you applied and got accepted into the social work program, the director or chair of the social work program email address is on the website. Go there. Even if they think you're crazy, I guarantee you once campuses open up and they're able to put a face with a name, that is going to be something to make you stand out, because not everybody's going to do that. And especially for students like mine who have come from a really small school, getting connections is going to make it feel more comfortable, because your school is small, or even because we've all been virtual. You guys probably haven't seen everybody for a very long time, or been on your school campus. So making that process a little bit easier, the transition smoother, don't wait, reach out. And all they can do is not respond, or say I'll talk to you when campus opens up or something, but you do your part. Remember, you're advocating for yourself, and you're making sure that they know who you are. That is definitely going to make you stand out, and that's important, especially in these days and times right now. I am ending my presentation. Are there any questions? Any questions at all? Don't be shy. Please unmute your mic or put it in the chat, and I will do my best to answer.
I have a question. What do college admissioners look for? If that's
okay. Dylan, thank you for that question. So I will tell you, the majority of college reps are going to tell you they do a holistic review. And what that means is, yes, your GPA gets you in the door, or it gets you to apply to that type of school, right? So definitely GPA is important. But they also want to see the other things that you've done, or if there have been hardships that you faced that limited you from doing extracurricular or volunteer work, then they want to know about that too. They want to know that you're a person who is going to, when faced with a challenge, or even not a challenge, just faced with a different environment, that you're going to thrive. And that doesn't mean you have to be perfect. Again, the majority of my students have difficulties in 9th and 10th grade. The adjustment from from middle school to high school is difficult for some students. Surely by the number of classes that you're taking, the number of teacher personalities you have to adjust to, all of that plays into it. So they want to see, though, that you had some tough times, but you overcame it. Or they want to see that you took the most rigorous classes that were offered to you and you thrived. They want to see that. So they, if you're getting straight A's in regular classes, why aren't you trying for an honors or an AP class? Don't take the easy road. You got to try for it. So they want to see that. I also want you guys to know that you are being assessed or compared to the people within your school, not within another school. So say, for example, if you go to, Washington Prep, you guys might have, I don't know, 20 AP classes, where students at St. Mary's, we only have like 7 or 8. We're not going, the St. Mary's student is not going to be compared by what they have at Washington Prep, because it wasn't offered, it wasn't available. So you're going to be assessed based on with what's in your system, with what's in your control. And again, it matters just as much if you're a top student taking regular classes and not trying for honors or AP classes as a student who is struggling in a regular class. So it weighs out the same. If you're struggling, but you overcame it and you're maintaining, you're doing well, that's within your means, that's within your ability, fantastic. But if you were just kicking back and just getting the easy A when you could have been pushed and you didn't, that is looked at as well. So really just taking advantage of the things that are within your means. And if you're able to either throw some, they want you to throw some extracurricular volunteer work in there, but if you couldn't, you have to explain why. Some of my students have to work. They really have to work to help the family. That needs to be noted in your college essays, because of course you couldn't do volunteer work if you had to work. Or student athletes, you guys have to juggle a lot. Sometimes you get home at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. So I guess to answer your question, Dylan, they want to see that you're representing what you did to the best of your ability, right? Whatever you did, they're going to look at you holistically, not just the grade, but that's the first step. But within your means, what did you take advantage of? What possibly could you have done? Or maybe you couldn't, and explaining that in the college essays if the school requires an essay. Not all school requires essays. The Cal States don't, the community colleges don't, but the UCs and private schools do. HBCUs, they do. There's one that you have to fill out for HBCUs, depending on the school. Some require more. So really they're looking for a well-rounded student. They're looking for a student who was able to articulate what they were able to do that was within their means at their school site. Yes. And that's
I actually do have another question.
Yes, please.
When taking APs, if you don't take the test or don't want to pay for the test, you still get GPA credit, right? Instead of college credit?
Yes, that is a fantastic question. So if you take an AP class, but you didn't take the exam for whatever reason, you're going to get the high school credit. Yes. But not the college credit. So it's not going to hurt you. But I will say, depending on your school. And my school, if you sign up for an AP class, you have to take the exam. But you can decide whether or not to send the score. I have students who, did well in the class, but didn't score well. Standardized testing is hard. So they didn't do well on the exam. They just didn't send it to the school. That's optional. Sending your score is optional. So great.
Also to Ms. Hedmans, don't they have waivers for the tests as well, for the AP tests?
Meaning like fee waivers?
Yeah, so you don't have to pay for the AP test.
Yeah, there are fee waivers that you can utilize directly through your school. Your school should be able to facilitate you getting a fee waiver for that, yes. And depending on your district, some district waives it for everybody. I'm in Long Beach Unified and my kid only pays $5. It's just the processing fee for every test. So check in with your counselor or your AP coordinator for that. It's a very good question. And I will say, it's noted that you tried the AP class. So whether or not you took the exam, it looks good that you tried it, that you tried the class. Again, whether or not you get the college credit or not for it, when they're reviewing your transcript, they see that you tried, that you took the class. So that is a plus. Thank you for that question. Any other questions? Again, it could be about anything. All right. Well, again, thank you guys for inviting me back again. Please, if you have more questions for me later, you can the Wooten Center you guys can all get a hold of me, and I'll be happy to answer some of your questions. I will say one last thing, seniors, if you don't have a plan and you want to just bounce some ideas off me as far as what you can do at this point, because we're nearing the end of the semester, lots of college applications are, it's too late to apply. Just reach out to me and I can help you formulate a plan. Everybody needs to graduate with a plan. Not all plans will look the same. Your plan is your plan, and you can be successful at whatever your plan is, but don't graduate high school without a plan.
That's awesome. That's
Okay.
awesome. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hemmons. And yeah, from all of you, can we just share back with Ms. Hemmons, what's something that you learned from, I took some good notes here from things that she shared that I'm like, whoa, those are awesome. What's something that you heard that stood out to you as an important detail in her whole presentation, or even from what Ms. Phyllis shared about HBCUs? Anything, what is anything that stood out to you?
I would say self-advocacy.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It starts with you first, right? And I think like I could tell you guys when I was in college, and I'm a good student. I was doing all my stuff, but this class, I tell you, in college we had 4 midterms, and I was on the 3rd midterm and I didn't get a good grade, and I said, oh no, right? And so I showed up to my professor's office hours because I knew I studied for test 3 because, well, I studied for the other 2, but I don't know what happened, right? But test 3, it happens to the best of us. Test 3, I said, So I showed up to the office hours. I said, Professor, and we went, she's like, okay, let's go through each of the questions. And we sure went through all the questions. And my D came up to a C. I said, that's all I need. Literally, I think I just needed a couple. The answer, she was like, I can see why you put that. And I showed up and I advocated for myself. And that made the difference on if I passed that test or if I failed that test. And again, in college, you're going to have those 4 midterms or 3 midterms, right? You can't afford to miss or do bad on all, come on. And so speaking up for yourself, and I was just like, whoa. And so there is power in your voice, power in you standing up and speaking up for yourself as well, and taking advantage of those opportunities that are available to you. So wonderful. Thank you, Dylan, for sharing. Anybody else? What's something that you learned from what Ms. Hemmons shared? Parents, you too, if there's anything that you learned, feel free to share. What about being proactive? I think that's important. How are you guys being proactive right now? What are you working on? You're like, okay, I know I want to do this, but what are you doing right now to prepare for that? That's going to be like further down.
I can go.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Actually, resell like shoes and things like that. Awesome. So I'm planning on like buying a car.
Come on.
But this is pretty much just a side hustle, really, just to be an entrepreneur, make money. I'm thinking of the word monetizing my hustle.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, just doing things that I love and making money off of it.
the skills that Ms. Hemmons shared as soft skills, being an active listener, like you said, being an entrepreneur, as you're selling those shoes, you have to listen to your customers. If they say, I want my shoes to be a certain kind of way, to provide good customer service. So as you're doing that now, being an entrepreneur, you're developing and building those skills, good customer service, time management, emotional management, because when you think about, you say, okay, I have a goal that I want to make. I want to sell so many shoes so I can make so much money to do whatever, you're making a plan. And so you working right now, and, you say hustle, right? But this hustle is going to help you to do the things, because it's the same, the concepts and the skills that you're developing are the same in college, working, as an adult. It's the same. It's all the same. And so that's awesome. So great job, Dylan. Great job, Dylan, for applying it. And any of you, if you're doing, I know some of you guys, like Ms. Hemmons said, in sports, if you're in sports, if you're managing your time in sports, you're managing school, work, sports, all those things, or just your social life, all that stuff makes a big difference, and it creates balance as you're working and doing all that stuff. Having a strong profile, I think that's something that stood out, Ms. Hemmons, that you shared. I said, yeah, because when they see you, they hear you, they see your name come across and say, hey, that's the person that emailed me, like Ms. Hemmons said. She said, email the people and call them and say, hey, I'm excited to come to your school, right? They're going to be like, hey, that's the same young man, young woman. Okay. And then when you come and when they see you in person or when they see you online, they're going to be like, I like you already. And you know what? They're going to want to place you in places. They're going to say, okay, they're going to be a wealth of resource for you. Okay. You guys, college, education is all about networking. As you continue to go, it's all about relationships, you guys. Your friendships, with your family, with your friends. It's all about relationships. And the same thing, as you continue to grow, it's all about those relationships. So, and then reach out. Oh yeah, it's already said that already. Reaching out and taking good notes, all these good things. So Ms. Hemmons, I took my good notes, and they were great. And so I'm glad that we can all learn as well. And so thank you so much, Ms. Hemmons, for sharing. So can we just give her like a round of applause? I know we're muted, but feel free to unmute yourself and give her emoji reaction.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate coming back and just talking with you guys. It's not a job. It's my mission. It's my calling. I am a proud first one in my college, my family to go to college. And I understand the importance of giving back to especially first-gen kids, who a lot of us do it on our own because we don't have anybody at home to show us the way. So that is definitely the driving force behind me doing things like this. So please, and there's tons of us, tons of educators like that. Just talk to us. Just really, advocate for yourself, speak up and let us know so that we can help you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as we end here, I just want to share our next CAP meeting is going to be May 7th there. And so be sure to RSVP for our next CAP meeting. And then tomorrow we have college applications night. So for all of our seniors, I know our senior that's here in the room, he's in the group, right? But if you have any friends that are seniors that are graduating this year and they need support, like it says here, we're helping our seniors with college admissions, financial aid scholarships, applications, actually the actual scholarship applications, like filling them out. There are resources here for you. And this is through the Southern California Council of Black American Affairs. And so join us tomorrow night. RSVP, wootencenter.org/events. Ms. Marlene, you could put that in the chat for any of you. And for those of you who are still here, and for parents also, join us for our parent power group. Next week, we're doing providing learning assistance in the home. And so there's resources here for you as well as parents, okay? And so for those of you who are here, we have a wonderful raffle for our youth. And so Miss Marlene is going to share our page. And so who is feeling like a winner? And you must be present to win. All right. Woo! All right, Sydney. Awesome. Sydney, you're receiving a Starbucks gift card, and I'm going to send it to your email. So put your email to me in the chat so I can send it to you. All right, going to spin one more time. Who's going to get the next gift card? Woo! Awesome. Congratulations, Dylan. Wonderful. Awesome. Awesome. All right, you all. It has been awesome. You guys have a great night. Dylan, please make sure that you put it in the chat. Give me your, please text me your, not text me. Put in the chat your email. Can I see it there? Sydney, did you put yours? Okay, there you go. Got it. Thank you so much. All right, wonderful. So I will send those your way, and you guys have a wonderful night. See you next CAP meeting. See you tomorrow, seniors, for college applications night. All right, you guys have a great one.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
See you next time.
See you next time. All right, wonderful.
All right.